Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this CTFO Zoom event. My name is Adam Levy from Canton, Connecticut. Glad you could join us here at this very special time in our history with our company. A lot of amazing things happening in our business. We have a great special guest that I'll be introducing momentarily. It's really challenging times for a lot of people. Looking for ways to make money from home, looking to build your immune system. A lot of stress and anxiety going on out there right now. And, CTFO really has the answer to a lot of people's concerns. And tonight we're going to be going over, or today I should say, we're going to be going over some ways that you can build your immune system. And, I've got a really great friend on the line. Dr. Robban Sica has joined us. She's an MD. She's the kind of MD that practices nutritional medicine and alternative therapies. She can prescribe if she needs to, but usually goes with alternative, nutritional therapies and other types of modalities in her practice down in Westport, Connecticut. And she's the kind of doctor that, a lot of people end up at after all other doctors have failed. They usually end up in her office, and she's somebody that is able to treat the whole body and usually get to the other side of the issue. There's only a few people that I really trust implicitly for my nutritional and natural health questions and concerns. And Dr. Robban Sica is one of those people. And, at times like this, I just want you to know, Robban, that, I truly appreciate you being that person for us and our family. And I know a lot of people watching on also feel the same way. So, Dr. Robban Sica, thanks for joining us today. We're so glad to have you.
Thanks, Adam, for setting us up. It's good. It's always good to get together.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're going to share my screen, and we're going to get into some of the details of what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to pin you as the video. Okay, there you are. Hey, all right. I'm going to share my screen and get it going. Well, all right. Here we go. Fantastic. Well, as I mentioned, Dr. Robban Sica, take it away. We're so excited to have you. Also, Dr. Robban was instrumental in being one of the people that helped formulate and put together this amazing 10X Pure Ultimate Multivitamin, one of the incredible products that we offer that helps build the immune system, among other things, and Robban will be covering that as well. Robban, take it away.
All righty. So the first thing I want to say is just everybody take a deep breath if you're freaking out over this COVID virus. Well, actually, COVID is the disease. The coronavirus is the organism. I just want to reassure everybody, it's not the pandemic that it's being promoted as. It just isn't. The numbers don't bear it out, and I'm going to go through the numbers in a minute. But it's not as contagious and it's not as deadly as it's being promoted. I'm not sure exactly why that's being promoted that way. And we still have to follow all the precautions and all the, prudent measures and stay home as best we can. But don't be in fear about it, because it really is not, we're not going to see millions of people dying of this. The total number of cases worldwide is 367,000. And only 16,000 deaths so far. And a number of people have recovered, over 100,000 people have recovered fully. Probably, those numbers are probably, other than the death numbers, which we can definitely, identify, we don't know if the numbers of people that have been affected by coronavirus are actually much higher than that, the number of cases and the number recovered, because most people who have the coronavirus, this particular coronavirus, are asymptomatic or have very mild upper respiratory symptoms and don't go into any kind of severe disease. And as long as your immune system is good, you're going to be fine. Okay. There are some things that are starting to come forth as like bigger risk factors, not just age, which we've all heard about. Of course, the older someone is, the more weak their immune system tends to be, but also anybody that has any kind of respiratory conditions. When you think about it, your lung function declines over time anyway. And so if you've been a smoker for a significant period of your life, or a current smoker, that's going to put you at bigger risk. Cigarette smoking does shut down lung function. And you think about the two areas where we've seen the most deaths in China and in Italy, both places, there's a high percentage of the population that are or were smokers. So that right there, it shows you there's like a cluster that makes it look worse. The numbers look worse than they actually are. And when you compare it to flu or other respiratory diseases, it's the mortality rate is actually far less. The deaths so far to compare worldwide has been almost 110,000 deaths from the flu, and we only have 16,000 from the coronavirus. Coronaviruses, by the way, are one of the viruses the classes of viruses that cause the common cold. So in and of itself, coronavirus is not a particularly virulent or scary organism. This one has a couple of aspects that initially, especially because of the kind of perfect storm in Wuhan, China, got a lot of attention. It is related to the SARS. It's very closely related actually to SARS. If you remember in 2002, 2003, there was another alleged pandemic that disappeared after a very short period of time and was pretty much never heard from again. So I think that's the way this whole thing is going to play out, even though right now, because of the reaction of various governments around the country, around the world, I mean, it appears to be very scary to us, but like I said, just take a deep breath, because most people are going to get through this. The vast majority of people are going to get through this completely unscathed. So, so you want to go to the next slide there, Adam? Or can I do it?
Yeah, I do. Hold on. Oops. Having trouble going to the next slide. There we go.
Oh, and by the way, there are two very effective treatments for this particular virus. One is a combination of chloroquine with an antibiotic which is an anti-malarial drug, combined with zithromax, which is a commonly used antibiotic for sinus infections and upper respiratory infections, and other infections as well, like Lyme disease. So that appears to be really good data coming out of China, as well as something that I've done in my office for over 30 years, and that's intravenous vitamin C is also very effective at helping people recover from the coronavirus. And we really should be implementing those treatments in the U.S. to a much greater extent. Last week I sent out to my patients an extensive list of resources of how to boost your immune system and how to all the precautions to take. So if anyone would like a copy of that newsletter, I can forward it to you. Just email us at support@Dr. Sica, that's DRSICA.com. That's support@drsica.com. And we'll send that out to you. Now, this slide here is a slide that I've been teaching from for over 30 years, because it's so critical to understand that when how does somebody get sick? If you're a person with a really good constitution and your immune system is good and you're at that optimal threshold on the slide there, and somebody sneezes on you, even if they have the coronavirus, and you get the coronavirus up your nose, which is how this thing is transmitted, by the way. It's gotta get in through one of your mucous membranes, which is basically your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. So someone has to sneeze on you or cough or spit at you, something, droplets have to get into your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Or if they've sneezed on a surface, you touch the surface, you touch your mouth, your nose, or your eye. There's nothing magical about this 6-foot distance rule that they're implementing, other than the fact that it's pretty hard for somebody to sneeze on you from 6 feet and actually infect you. So that's where that's coming from. But what I'm saying is, if you're the healthy individual and you take care of yourself and you've got a good threshold, and chances are you're going to be completely asymptomatic, never even know you got the coronavirus or a rhinovirus or an influenza virus or whatever. You just won't get sick, because your immune system is just going to simply take care of it. Now, the people that are chronically unwell, where they have, some more stressors going on in their system, they're a little more susceptible. The person who's deficient because they haven't been taking their vitamin D, they haven't been taking their vitamin C, they haven't been taking their zinc, they eat the standard American diet, which depletes your body, all the refined carbohydrates, white sugar, white flour, etc., not only don't have any nutrients in them, but they actually rob your body of nutrients because it takes those nutrients to metabolize those foods. So the biggest stress you can see right down at the bottom, standard American diet. First thing you can do is eat fruits and vegetables, a much amount of protein, and get the carbs, cut the carbs down considerably, particularly refined carbohydrates. First thing you can do to protect yourself against this virus or any other virus or any other illness for that matter. Then environmental stressors. Let me talk a little bit about Wuhan, China. Again, heavy population of smokers in China in general. The pollution in China is much worse than it is here in the United States. And the 10,000 5G cell towers in Wuhan alone. There's only 10,000 in the entire United States at this point. So just to give you an idea of just how concentrated the EMF radiation from 5G, which is not a safe thing, by the way, and that suppresses the immune function. So then you have a perfect storm there of a lot of people getting affected.
Michigan's on lockdown for.
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, I thought everybody was unmuted. Sorry. So the environmental toxins in this particular coronavirus situation are actually showing themselves to be very, very significant in terms of who passes away from the disease and who is fine. Life stress. Now, that's another reason why I say everybody take a deep breath, relax. It's not as bad as they're saying it is. We're all going to get through this just fine. Because the more in fear you are, the more anxious you are, the more you're not trusting that everything's going to be okay. The fear of the unknown is, significant for a lot of people. Those things are going to affect you adversely. And that's right now, I'm just giving you 3 things you can do for yourself. Clean up your environment, breathe fresh air, go out in nature, breathe fresh air, take a long walk. Not today in Connecticut, it's snowing out there today, but tomorrow when it comes back out. Clean up your diet, clean up your attitude. So you're having a positive attitude is gonna be the biggest boost you can give to your immune system. I'm gonna just mention heavy metals in passing because cigarette smoke basically puts and pollution puts heavy metals like lead and mercury, et cetera, into cadmium into your lung, and that causes a big impact on your lungs' ability to function properly. And that's where you see the respiratory distress that people have with the kind of serious form of the coronavirus. Allergies, et cetera, I don't think I need to talk about. So, but if you see, it's when the number of stressors on your system exceed the threshold that you're at, whether you're in the deficiency state or whether you've optimized your nutrition, basically your nutrition and your attitude, let's say. If you get more stressors on your system, then that's when you'll be affected. And you may still only have mild symptoms. The more obviously things stack up on the right, chronically ill people that have been chronic smokers, etc. Those are the people that are at a higher risk. Go ahead and flip to the next slide. And there we go. So one of the things that is alarming and has been going on for a long period of time is that the nutrient value in food, and what's represented here is iron, but it's been pretty much the same for all of the trace minerals like zinc, and zinc is really crucial for your immune system, as is selenium and other trace minerals. Magnesium has been proven to be very important. And if you look at the drastic decline between 1940 and the last data point is in the 1990s, so we're 30 years past that almost. And it's probably only gotten worse since then. So we can't, when your conventional doctor tells you, oh, you don't need to take a multivitamin, you don't need to take vitamins because you can get everything you need from a balanced diet. Well, I'm here to tell you that just is not so. Popeye wouldn't be very strong in the 1990s to today. A can of spinach wouldn't have gone very far for him, wouldn't have given him the strength that he needed. And the U.S. government actually recognized this as early as 1936, and this was actually in the Federal Register, Senate Document 264. The alarming fact is that fruits and vegetables and grains now being raised on millions of acres of land no longer contains enough of certain needed minerals, and we are starving no matter how much we eat. Your body wants those minerals, so people overeat because they're getting empty calories. They're not getting the nutrition that they need. So the 10x Pure Ultimate Multivitamin is a really cool multivitamin. It's a basic multivitamin. It's not necessarily everything you need, especially if you have a weaker immune system. You're going to want to supplement a little bit with some other nutrients, and I'll talk about in a minute. But the nice thing is this kind of covers the bases. So at least you're getting some of all the nutrients that you need. And of course, it's in the 10x Pure oil, which increases the bioavailability. Bioavailability is a big issue, because if you can take it in by food, or you can take in a nutrient multivitamin or whatever, but if you can't absorb it, if your GI tract, say you have a chronic intestinal issue or Crohn's disease or whatever, all of a sudden, celiac disease, gluten intolerance, all of a sudden you can't absorb that. And some of these minerals are actually very low rates of absorption, such as zinc, which again, I'm going to say again, zinc. Zinc is so important to the immune system. And this gives you 15 milligrams of zinc in a really bioavailable form. And one of the reasons that chloroquine and hydroxychloroquine are working against coronavirus is not because it's a malarial disease, because obviously it isn't, it's a viral disease, but because they are what we call zinc ionophores. And zinc actually, it helps, the zinc ionophores help to drive zinc into the cell, into the virus, that it can do its job, that the zinc can then do its job. And that's one of the recommendations, that if somebody is taking chloroquine or hydroxychloroquine with or without Zithromax, they should also be taking zinc, because that zinc is what's going to go in and kill the virus. And I think that's really important. And again, because it's a nutrient, and nobody thinks nutrient, conventional medicine doesn't think nutrients do anything in the body. They don't really pay attention to that. There are a couple of naturally occurring zinc ionophores, quercetin, which is a bioflavonoid, and green tea extract. So drink your green tea and take your zinc. And you'll probably be really good. You'll be doing really good. So the nutrients in here that are really critical for immune function: vitamin A. This has the basic, well, it's a little bit more than the daily value. It's almost 1.5 times, or a little bit more than 1.5 times. Vitamin C, I would recommend taking extra vitamin A, maybe 10,000 IUs a day. Extra vitamin C, I would take 3,000 total a day or more. Vitamin D, you probably should be taking 5,000 to 10,000. And if you get sick, you want to crank your vitamin D and vitamin C up considerably higher than that. Those have all been recognized to be really important in this disease. The B vitamins, of course, are always important for energy. Magnesium, zinc, and selenium are really important for the immune function, as I said before. And these are, reasonable amounts for a multivitamin. Remember, it's only 2 capsules, so there's only so much we can cram in that 2 capsules. So you're not going to get super therapeutic amounts, but at least you're getting all your bases covered. 15 milligrams is pretty good. You might want to up it to 30, particularly if you have a weak immune system. Selenium, the recommended dose is in here, which is 200 micrograms, but you could up it to 400.
Hey, Robin, I got a quick question for you. Could a person, instead of doing 2 a day, could they do 3 of these a day and kind of get closer to those numbers you're talking about?
Be more like at least 4 a day. And,
right. 3 or 4 a day.
I still would probably say supplement with D and D and C. There's nothing in here that's toxic. I mean, you take the whole bottle and you're not going to overdose.
Good. That's good news.
Maybe that's an exaggeration. I mean, but the vitamins that we worry about as far as toxicity, there's only a few of them. Okay, vitamin A in the form of retinoic acid, which is not. This is in the form of beta carotene, which is the precursor, and that's safe. Vitamin A itself can get toxic. Vitamin D, you would have to take a ton of vitamin D to get toxic on vitamin D, but it does accumulate in the body. So that's one. And then iron, which is not included. We don't have iron in this multivitamin because people that don't need iron shouldn't take iron because it's an oxidative mineral, and copper is the other one that's not in here. So you would have to supplement separately with those if you are either copper deficient, iron deficient, etc. So there's nothing really in here that you can overdose on.
So you could do 3 or 4 a day, and you would, that wouldn't be a bad idea during these times of wanting your immune system as strong as possible.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
So, again, the B vitamins are for energy, methylfolate. There's greater than 40% of the population has this methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase deficiency syndrome, which means you can't use regular folic acid, the synthetic folic acid. You need it in the methylfolate form, and the B12 needs to be in the methylated form as well. And I made sure that CTFO heard me loud and clear on that. This is the state of nutrition now, that you can't use the cheaper folic acid, and they agreed and put the more expensive ingredients in here, which is awesome, because unless you've been tested, you may not even know if you're at risk for heart disease or depression or other, breast cancer or whatever, because you have this MTHFR deficiency. So it's an optimal amount of nutrients for a multivitamin, not necessarily for, full-blown infection, but certainly it's your base that's really important. And the trace minerals, as we talked about, that are depleted from the soil. Vitamin D has to be in the active form of vitamin D3 for immune support. There was a case study a few years ago that was published where there was 250 bed extended care facility for disabled children, like kids with cerebral palsy and things like that. And the doctor who was running the place, or the medical director, made sure that all of their vitamin D levels were optimized, and that's between 50 and 100 on a blood test. And so that was in the H1N1 bird flu craziness back then that we were all going to die from. Excuse me, little joke there. But the residents, there was a new resident admitted, 249 residents who were there that had their optimal vitamin D did not catch the H1N1 virus, the flu virus, from that new resident that was admitted to the home. But 75 staff members who did not have their vitamin D levels optimized got sick and tested positive for H1N1, and 115 more staff members called in sick but were never tested. We assume they had H1N1, but we don't know. That's the power of vitamin D. That's the power of vitamin D. Not one of those sick kids got sick because their vitamin D levels were optimal. So vitamin D, very powerful. And vitamin K actually is really important also, not so much to this current topic, but it does help to support bone density, and it prevents calcifications such as in the coronary arteries and elsewhere where it's not supposed to be. So again, it's 24 key nutrients with optimized amount per multivitamin, GMP certified, so it's the cleanest possible. What's in there is what's on the label is what's in there. It is gluten-free for people that have gluten issues, and there's more and more of those every day because of the way the food supply has been contaminated with all those environmental toxins such as glyphosate. There's no fillers or binders because all it is the 10x Pure and the gelatin cap. And 10x Pure, just like it stabilizes our CBD products and stabilizes the other phytocannabinoids in our hemp oil, it stabilizes and optimizes the absorption and bioavailability of these nutrients as well. And it's manufactured here in the USA. A lot of vitamins that you go and pull off the shelf at a health food store or a drugstore or whatever, particularly the cheaper ones, are made in China or India. And as we've already talked about, China is a very, very contaminated place with heavy metals and all kinds of environmental toxins. So you really want to know where your vitamins are sourced from. And so, another topic near and dear to our hearts, of course, is CBD. CBD and other phytocannabinoids have been definitely demonstrated to help maintain homeostasis in all the body systems, but especially the immune system. It decreases inflammation, which one of the issues that happens in people that get the lower respiratory, the pneumonia, the acute respiratory distress syndrome with coronavirus, they have a lot of inflammation in their lungs. There are certain medications that contribute to that. There are certain other, you know, medications that suppress the immune system that are also making people more susceptible. But the beautiful thing is the endocannabinoid system is geared to balance inflammation, increase your immune system, but not increase inflammation. In fact, it decreases inflammation. So it's a very powerful way of supporting your immune system in this crazy time that we live in here. The 10X Pure itself, the structured oxygenated oils, are also antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal and anti-inflammatory. Lauric acid from mother's milk, actually, it's given to baby that comes through the breast milk, and you know, from the mother to the baby. It's proven antiviral, proven antibacterial. Capric acid is a prebiotic, and the more you support your good bacteria in your gut, you actually have a stronger immune system because your gut bacteria do help to protect you as well. Caprylic acid I've used for years as an antifungal, and linoleic as well as oleic are anti-inflammatory. So oleic acid does come from olive oil, but it's not just olive oil here. There are these powerful essential fatty acids, short-chain fatty acids, and medium-chain fatty acids, but they're also oxygenated, which is what makes them hydrophilic and therefore able to be absorbed. And full-spectrum hemp oil, such as we have, contains also additional terpenes, flavonoids, like I mentioned, quercetin. Obviously, it wouldn't be a therapeutic dose of quercetin, but you are getting some of that if you take your hemp oil every day. Essential fatty acids, and then some of the same vitamins and minerals. So cannabidiolic acid, you know, the 10X Pure protects the CBDA in the cannabidiolic acid form, which is naturally occurring in the plant, and therefore has much more potent effects on inflammation, as well as on anxiety and stress. And CBD, unfortunately, degrades to CBD when it's exposed to any kind of treatment, heat, or processing, or anything like that. So most CBD products on the market contain very little, if any, CBDA, but 10X Pure protects the CBD, a good amount of the CBD, from degradation. So that makes 10X Pure Gold, or 10X Pure CBD oil much more potent and much more effective for the things that we want it for today. So Raphael Mechoulam is basically the founder of, or the father of cannabis, because he's the one that identified the endocannabinoid system. He also identified CBD as well as THC and synthesized them. He's known for many years that CBDA is 1,000 times more potent for binding to serotonin, which helps with depression, anxiety, and as well as nausea. And it's a COX-2 inhibitor, which helps with inflammation and pain. And he knew this, but he's been trying to make a synthetic CBDA because he's not been able to stabilize it in the lab. And this is a pretty smart dude, so we'll see that 7 to 10 years from now, that might be on the market other than absorptive effects. And right now, you can get 10X Pure for a lot less than what they charge for CBD, the CBD that they approved, the Epidiolex that they approved for seizure disorders in children. The FDA approved it, about 2-3 years ago, and it's $32,000 a month. It makes you appreciate your bottle of 10X Pure that much more, right?
No doubt.
You can see that the CTFO, maybe a full spectrum 500 milligram might have 0 to 3 milligrams. So even if you made 1,000 milligrams, it's not going to have more than 6 milligrams of CBDA in it. And our 10X Pure is at least 300 milligrams, maybe even higher than that, which is like 6 milligrams per dose, which is more than what's in the whole bottle of the regular CBD.
About 600 times more.
Yeah, actually, it says it right there. Read it out of it.
Hey, Robban, we appreciate you taking time out. I know you're still seeing patients on occasion, these days, and you're doing a lot of phone consults. So we appreciate you taking some time out and spending it with us. We're going to open it up in a few for some Q&A. So stay tuned for that. You're going to want to make sure that you send in your questions via the chat. That's the way to do that. And that'll be kind of important. So if you've got some questions for Robban, we're going to try to get those done by the end of the call. All right, fantastic. I'm going to move on a little bit here, and we're going to cover some other things that can help you with your immune system. The Extreme Shake, extremely delicious, 3 net carbs, going to help you lose weight, 15 grams of whey protein, loaded with healthy MCTs. But here's the key, folks. 1 billion probiotics per serving every time you have an Extreme Shake. And 80% of your immune system is found in the gut. It is the good gut bacteria. That's where your immune system lives. 80% of that's going to come from there. And let's face it, we wash off our vegetables, and we're not getting the kind of prebiotics, I should say probiotics, that we used to get back when we had organic soils and we were doing our own gardening and things like that. So this is really, really important. And I got to tell you, you feel amazing after one of these. It's got the patented Sensoril in it. Has 11 human clinical trials, which has an amazing health benefits. It's one of the most well-studied adaptogens. That's ashwagandha in this form of Sensoril, which is again a patented. You're getting a full serving of that, or a therapeutic dose of Sensoril with every serving as well. Some of the benefits: sharper focus and reaction time, healthy joints, increased energy and strength. Restful sleep, that's huge for your immune system, folks. Reducing stress and tension. How many people got some stress and fatigue and tension these days? Also, you've got these different benefits as well. Building the immune system is one of the ones I wanted to highlight there also. The Extreme Shake, 15 servings. I mean, look at this, guys. It's really just a few dollars per serving. Not a bad idea to have Extreme Shake on hand at the house. When stores are out of a lot of stuff today, it's just really nice to be able to know you've got something you can just add water to, and or add unsweetened coconut milk works really well, or almond milk, I should say. And look, your first order, if you do that within your first 7 days, look how you save 20%. If you're on an auto ship, you're saving 5%. And this is just such an incredible product. Endless possibilities. It's vanilla, so you can do whatever you want with it. You can add all kinds of great fruits, vegetables, and things that make it taste, even more amazing, or keep from being boring. And again, we have over 80 top quality CBD products that you can access, at wholesale prices, and that's something that we're offering people. And more people today are looking for a platform, a way that they can earn money from home. And we have the hottest product line out there right now. CBD is so big, growing so fast. Some getting started options. We have a health pack, which is a good way to go. A couple of shakes, the multivitamin, the 10X Pure Ultimate Multi. That's a great way to go. The other one is our combo pack, which has the 10X Pure drops in it, as well as the roll-on and the multi. So those are a great way to go. And again, you'll save 20% off your first order with those types of packs, or any combination of products that you order. You can go shopping and you'll do that. It's not like Bed Bath & Beyond where you save 20% on the highest item, right? It's actually 20% on the entire first order. So take advantage of that. And then, of course, we have our business builder packs, which do unlock additional compensation. Those are already discounted, so you'll get an additional 10% off on those if you order a silver, gold, or platinum pack. Within your first 30 days, there's an additional 10% off. So again, 20% off your first order, 10% within your first 30 days. I'm going to see if I can answer, or have Dr. Robban Sica answer some questions for you. We're going to go to the chat right now and see what kind of questions we can find. I can find the chat. Okay, where'd the chat go? Okay, there's the chat. All right, here we go. Everybody's saying great job. Does anyone have to worry about vitamin K if someone is on blood thinner? Thank you, Dr. Robban.
So the only blood thinner that there's an interaction with vitamin K is Coumadin or warfarin. because the action of warfarin is to block vitamin K, and that's how it works. But it's only K1, so you can actually take K2, which is MK7 and MK4. You can take those. It's the K1 that you wouldn't be able to take, but it's only with that particular blood thinner, not with like Xarelto or Eliquis or any of the other ones.
Got another question for you. Bradley asked, I was wondering if we could take Super 7, 10X Pure Ultimate Multi, and the full spectrum 500 milligram in the same day.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Good question. We're less than a minute away here from the
Please
end.
do all of the above.
Jeff asked, my spouse has Sjogren's immune disorder. What can we do to build a stronger immune system?
So Sjogren's is an autoimmune disease that affects the salivary glands and the lacrimal duct, so it tends to cause dry eyes and dry mouth. I don't know that it's a huge additional risk for, say, the coronavirus or the flu. However, you know, an autoimmune disease, something is not quite right with the immune system. Best thing you can do is the full spectrum phytocannabinoids, the 10X Pure Gold or CBD products, 1500. Because that's going to help to downregulate the Th1, which causes autoimmunity, and upregulate Th2, which balances out the immune system. So that's, you know, number one that you really want to do for that. And there's some other treatments like low-dose naltrexone. And I just want to jump off of that for a second, because the biggest concern that I have